My name is Jerry Dunn. Thank you for joining us for one of the highlights of the Toastmasters year, the District 71 Table Topics Contest Final. Can I send a special greeting to our District Director, Gerard Mannix, and the whole of the district leadership team who have done so much to make this contest and the conference in general happen. Now, this contest is being recorded. Some of you are watching as I speak. Some of you are watching from the future. Some are watching from every part of District 71, and some are watching from distant parts of the world. But wherever you are in time or space, you are very welcome. And over the next hour, you're going to witness something very special from 6 of the finest exponents of the art of table topics. And in keeping with such a special event, we have a special contest chair. William Feek has been a Toastmaster since 2010, and during that time, he has occupied a number of roles, leadership roles at club area, and now as Division Director of Division S. Dolly Parton once said, "You have no idea how much it cost me to look this cheap." William could easily say, "You have no idea how hard I have to work to look this relaxed." We are in safe hands. Please welcome your contest chair, William Feek.
Why, thank you, Jerry, for that fantastic introduction. In fact, with an introduction like that, even I can't wait to hear myself in action as contest chair. I'm very pleased to confirm that we have 6 finalists in this process. They have come a long way, and we have filtered them all the way down to 6. The 6 finalists have been briefed and their order has been drawn. And I will now confirm the names of the finalists in their speaking order. Our first table topics contestant today, Prashanth Nair. First contestant, Prashanth Nair. Second contestant, Elizabeth Newman Earl. Second contestant, Elizabeth Newman Earl. Third contestant, Colin Mcglade. Third contestant, Colin Mcglade. Fourth contestant, Aaron Day. Fourth contestant, Aaron Day. Fifth contestant, Serena Mann. Fifth contestant, Serena Mann. And our 6th contestant, Siobhan Fitzgerald. 6th contestant, Siobhan Fitzgerald. So they are the 6 contestants, and that is the speaking order. As you all know, table topics are 2-minute speeches. And I will very importantly confirm that contestants will be disqualified if they speak for less than 1 minute or for longer than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. They have timekeepers here to guide them through this process, and they will signal the times as they move through their speeches with colours. And I will confirm the colours, and if the timekeepers could please cycle through the colours as I speak to indicate that everything is okay. When you begin your speech, you will see the timekeepers as they are right now. When you reach the 1 minute mark, the time colour will turn green. 1 minute 30, the timing will turn yellow, and at 2 minutes, red. The contestants will not be told individually if they have been disqualified for going over time, but very important is to keep attention to the timing signals. Obviously, this is an online contest, Normally we do this thing in person, but for the last year or so, we have been on the Zoom platform, and that brings the spectre of technology failure into the equation. Under certain circumstances, the contest may be stopped or the contestants may be given extra time. This is entirely at the discretion of the chief judge, who I'll introduce in a moment. What I will say though, and some of you have witnessed other technology failures in other contests in the last week or so, that this man sets the benchmark for fair play. He is a human being like the rest of us, and he does not want to see a contestant drop out for technology failure. I will now introduce our Chief Judge, Anthony Garvey, to say a few words and confirm that the judges and functionaries have indeed now been briefed.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Contest Chair. May I wish you a very successful contest, hopefully with no technical failures whatsoever. Just to answer Will's query there, what happens if there is a technical failure as a contestant? Don't panic. Don't panic. I mean, it can be easy to lose your head when you suddenly realize you're in the middle of a contest and poof, the entire connection has disappeared. Try and reconnect. We will give you up to 2 minutes to reconnect officially as soon as I start my official timing clock. But in the meantime, I'll be checking with the contest chair and the Zoom masters to make sure that they're trying to re-establish connection with you. Do consider connecting with a mobile phone if all else fails. You will be given 2 minutes to reconnect, and during that time, we will do our best to help you through, so don't panic. I can confirm, contest chair, that all of my fine team of judges, counters, and timers have been briefed and are aware of all of the rules governing the contest. Have a great contest.
Thank you, Chief Judge Anthony. I will just take a few moments to explain the table topics selection procedure. I have 3 table topics in 3 envelopes, and in a moment I'll ask the Chief Judge to pick a number, and that will be the table topic that we will use. At any time during the contest, the Chief Judge may ask me to open another envelope. This may happen, for example, if a Zoom master will bring you into the room and you hear another contestant speak prematurely. Chief Judge, can you please pick a number between 1 and 3?
Certainly, I pick envelope number 2.
Okay, this is the table topic we will use during the contest. I will now briefly explain the procedure, and then we can start with the contest proper. In a moment, I will ask the Zoom masters to move contestants 2 through 6 to the breakout room. Contestant 1 can remain in the main room. When a contestant is moved from the breakout room to the main room, this will happen during the 1 minute silence. After the minute silence is over, I will do a quick sound check with the contestant. I will make sure the contestant has pinned the timer. I will ask the contestant to say a few words so that I can verify that their microphone and their video is both functioning. The rules state that I must introduce the contestant in a standard manner. I will say their name, I will read them the question, I will read them the question, and then I will say their name. I am not able to ask the same question again unless there may be a problem with my sound, in which case the Chief Judge can ask me to read the question again. The timing will begin when the contestant's first verbal or non-verbal interaction with the audience. So that's very important. I'll explain the process once more. The contestant comes from the breakout room into the main room. When we're ready, I will do a sound check. I will make sure everything's okay. I will then announce the question in the standard way. I will ask the question, the name, the question, and the name. The timing will begin with the first verbal or non-verbal interaction the contestant makes with the audience. So before we start the contest, can I just ask, do any of the contestants have any questions about the process? Okay, I will take that silence as they don't have any questions about the process. Can the Zoom master please remove contestants 2 through 6 to the breakout room? And can the Zoom master please confirm when they have left the room?
Contest chair, contestants 2 through 6 have left the room.
Okay, our first speaker is Prashanth. Could Prashanth please turn your video on?
Sure.
Prashanth, I'm getting a bad feeling this is going to be the same as last time. Can you switch your video on, please?
Yeah, I have switched it on.
I'm very, very glad to see you. And I can see you. Just say a few words. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, William.
I can confirm, I can see you, and I can hear you. I will now read you the question in the prescribed way. Prashanth Nair, what life lessons did you learn the hard way? What life lessons did you learn the hard way? Prashanth Nair.
Thank you, Toastmaster, for such a lovely topic. My life has been a learning lesson throughout my time. My father is a very learned man, and he always made sure that I learned most of my lessons the hard way. The best lesson which my father actually made me learn came from a game of chess. In India, chess is a very common game. We all play it. Apparently, I'm not that good at it, but I have never beaten my father all my life. But he made sure that he never lost to me. I always had to fight the hard way. For years, I'm 28 now. In 28 years, I have not beaten my father even once. But what it has taught me over a period of time is that every time if I have to beat my father, I have to come up with different plans. That exactly has always happened to me in my career choices. I did my engineering, then I did my MBA, then I worked in an advertising firm, then I made sure that I worked in a consultancy firm. I made sure that I always have backup plan for everything again and again. Why I say I learned it the hard way is that had my father made sure that, you know what, he's my child, let him win once. It's okay. But my father never even let go of it, even on the day of the marriage, where we had a game of chess, me and my father played, and he moved 4 coins, and then the game was done. Over a period of time, now I'm 29, where I sit down and talk to my father. I asked him recently, why haven't you ever let me win it easy? He always said that if I let you win easy, the world will crush you outside. Probably it's the best lesson which I'm going to impart it to my kid, that if you learn to play hard at home, you will play hard outside. And if you play hard outside, we are all sure that you may have a wonderful life ahead. Thanks a lot for such a lovely topic. And it's been a very close topic to me because I've been waiting to speak on this great lesson which my father has always taught me. Thanks a lot once again. Over to you, contest chair.
Thank you, Prashanth. And may we have 1 minute on the clock for the judges, please. Okay, Elizabeth, I can see you fine. Can you say testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, please?
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I can confirm that I can see you and hear you. And I will now announce the question in the standard way. Our second contestant is Elizabeth Newman Earl. What life lessons did you learn the hard way? What life lessons did you learn the hard way? Elizabeth Newman Earl.
The main life lesson that I learned the hard way was A, to never give up, and believe to not, and B, to not believe in your doubters. Age 7, my parents got called into prep school by the headmaster, Dr. Foster. Dr. and Dr. Newman, I'm very disappointed to tell you that your daughter will never get 1 GCSE. We think she's bone idle, and we think she's a bit stupid. That went down very, very poorly with my parents, let me tell you that for nothing. And my mother turned round to Dr. Foster and said, absolutely not. My daughter will succeed, and she will do the very best she can, and she is dyslexic. Age 7, I'd acquired a diagnosis of dyslexia. And back then in the late 80s, dyslexia was not as recognised as it is now. But by goodness, I was not going to let it affect me. I went to the Dyslexia Institute and I worked hard. Better at some subjects than others. Maths and science passed me by, wasn't particularly fussed by those. But the subjects I loved and the subjects I was interested in, I worked so hard. The day of my GCSE results, outside school, so nervous. I was there with Mum. 12 GCSEs, grade A star to C. I was so proud of myself and I had the bit between my teeth. A-levels, 4 A-levels, Bachelors of Arts, first class degree, honours. And I'll get to Vice Chancellor's mention. Masters, I got a merit. And 2 years ago, I got this, my biggest achievement to date, my doctorate certificate. I got a PhD. So now, if I were ever to bump into Dr. Foster again, I would be able to tell him I got 1 GCSE and a little bit more besides. Thank you very much, Mr. Contest Chair.
And thank you, Elizabeth. And can we please have 1 minute on the clock for the judges, please? Thank you, timer. Colin, can you please confirm you have pinned the timer?
I have pinned the timer.
That is perfect. I can confirm that I can both see and hear you. And if you are ready, I will introduce the question in the standard way.
Yes, I am ready.
Colin Mcglade, what life lessons did you learn the hard way? What life lessons did you learn the hard way? Colin Mcglade.
Contest Chair, ladies and gentlemen, what life lesson did I learn the hard way? There are many life lessons that I have learned over the course of my life, and many of them were difficult to learn. But probably I would say the best life lesson that I have learned, and learned the hard way, is all about my fears. I have many fears in life. I fear water since I was pushed into the swimming pool when I was a young fella many years ago. I have a fear of closed spaces and a fear of big crowds. I feel kind of hemmed in, sort of claustrophobia. But my greatest fear, and I've learned to overcome this fear the hard way, my greatest fear is the fear of fear itself. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I know what fear can do to you. And I have suffered a lot from fear over the years, going back many years ago to my 20s. And I suffered from huge fear and panic attacks. And when I used to get a panic attack, I was going through a period of stress and a period of change in my life. And when I used to get a panic attack, it had a terrible effect on me. My heart would palpitate. My hands would shake. My breathing, I could hardly breathe. I was hyperventilating. I felt I was going to die. And I learned a lesson from that fear. I learned the lesson that the best way to conquer your fears is by taking a positive attitude. I read a book at the time, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. And he said in the book, if you face your fear, the death of fear is certain. And that's exactly what I did. When I learned that lesson in the book, I faced my fear and I started doing things that I was afraid of. And as a result of facing up to that fear and doing those things, I overcame my fear and got my composure back. So ladies and gentlemen, never be afraid of fear and never be afraid to do what you have to do in life. Contest Chair.
Thank you, Colin. And can we have a minute on the clock for the judges, please? Thank you, timer. Aaron, can you please confirm that you have pinned the timer?
Yes, I can confirm that.
I can confirm that I can see and hear you. And if you are ready, I will now introduce you in the standard way. Aaron Day, what life lessons did you learn the hard way? What life lessons did you learn the hard way? Aaron Day.
Contest chair and fellow Toastmasters. The next minute and a half is not intended to make you feel somber or sad, but I do have to tell you about a loss in my life and the great lesson that I learned from it. July 2010, I was sitting on my sofa, enjoying an episode of Frasier. And then I received a phone call from my dad. My sister, at the age of 28, on her birthday, had suffered a heart attack. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how to react. I just knew at that moment that I needed to provide some solace to my parents. Half an hour later, he called back and told me that my sister had passed away. She had been a victim of sudden adult death syndrome. I cried for weeks. I didn't know how to support my parents other than just washing the dishes, cooking them food, being there as a shoulder to cry on. The greatest lesson that I learned from Laura's death is this: do not waste your time being hateful or unkind to others. Don't fall out over petty, nonsensical things, because life genuinely is too short. She had a fire, and that fire burns within me, because I like to make sure that every second I appreciate the beauty and the excellence that we all have around us. Contest chair.
Thank you, Aaron. And can we have another minute on the clock for the judges, please? Thank you, timer. Serena, can you please confirm that you have pinned the timer?
Yes, I can see the timer, thanks.
Excellent. And I can confirm that I can both see and hear you loud and clear. And if you are ready, I will announce the question in the standard way.
Yep.
Serena Mann, what life lesson did you learn the hard way? What life lesson did you learn the hard way? Serena Mann.
Anxiety disorder. I learned a huge amount about anxiety. I developed an anxiety disorder when I was a child. And what I learned about this is that your fears start to imprison you one by one until you start avoiding all kinds of things. As a child, my main thing was to avoid things. I was too shy to put my hand up, too shy to participate in things, too shy to do anything, certainly too shy to speak in front of others. But what I realized over time was this was imprisoning me. And so I made it my mission to do what I could to overcome my anxiety, like speak in front of others, joining a Toastmaster club. But this took a huge amount of effort because I was so anxious and so afraid. It was a long journey. But what I learned is that it takes time, but if you're determined to do something, just take one step at a time and recognize whatever negativity is holding you back for what it is. I learned that anxiety tends to hold you back because you overthink everything. You don't want to take that step forward until you end up imprisoned in a very limited life. Whereas thinking about the things that you want to do and taking a step forward is much more conducive to a happy, healthier life. So I learned the hard way that anxiety traps you, but it also made me more determined to overcome it. One of the ways I overcame my anxiety is to not focus on myself, to think about others, think about how I want to connect with others. Do you enjoy connecting with other people? Because when you enjoy connecting with others, you don't feel so anxious. If you're genuinely curious about someone else, hey, what's your name? What do you do? I'm curious about you. You don't feel so anxious. So I learned to focus on other people and focus on the message that I wanted to share. What is it I'd like to communicate right now? And take the attention off what if I mess up or what will they think? My life lesson was overcome anxiety, think about others and be confident. Contest chair.
Thank you, Serena. And can we have another minute on the clock for the judges, please? Thank you, timer. Siobhan, can you please confirm that you have pinned the timer?
Yes, contest chair, I have pinned the timer.
Excellent. Well, I can confirm that I can both see and hear you loud and clear. So if you are ready, I will introduce the question in the standard way.
I'm ready.
Siobhan Fitzgerald, what life lesson did you have to learn the hard way? What life lesson did you have to learn the hard way? Siobhan Fitzgerald.
I love to travel. Prior to 2020, I traveled all around the world, only to have COVID-19 teach me that that last part of the journey was to come back to myself. Now, that was a hard way to learn it. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Yes, traveling, such a privilege, such a luxury, such a freedom. I spent most of my 20s traveling all around the world. I lived in different countries. I lived in Japan, I lived in Saudi Arabia, I lived in the USA, I lived in Switzerland, and I loved traveling. I always thought that traveling meant to going out there and experiencing new things, having new adventures. So then when I finally returned to Ireland, I had 4 children of my own, and I knew what lesson I wanted to teach them. I wanted to give them a love of life, a love of life beyond the borders of our country. So I brought them traveling with me. I wanted them to know that when something went wrong for them in their lives, that they could go somewhere else and experience something new. However, then 2020 hit. And I had just come back from India when suddenly I realized I couldn't travel anymore. I felt trapped, but I still wanted an adventure. And then it became clear. I think it's C.S. Lewis that says the goal of every exploring is to come back to yourself, come back home and see it through fresh eyes. And COVID-19 certainly helped me see my home, my immediate environment, but more importantly, that which lies within me with new, fresh eyes. The hardest lesson I ever learned was taught to me by COVID-19, that we have to travel within. Contest Chair.
Thank you, Siobhan. And can we have a final minute on the clock for the judges, please? Thank you, timer. And can I invite the Zoom masters to remove the chief judge and his team to the counting room to consider the verdict? Please confirm when they are out of the room.
Contest chair, the judges and counters are in the breakout rooms.
Excellent. So we can now relax. We will move on to the interviews. So everybody can switch on their cameras so we can all see each other. There we go. We're all coming back from the gloom. Now, I we had a bit of a nail-biting situation behind the scenes. Apparently, Prashant has disappeared. Fortunately, it was after his speech. Zoom Master, do we have Prashant back, or is he?
No, he hasn't returned.
William, I can't turn on my camera. The Zoom Master has it switched off.
Okay, can the Zoom Master please remedy that?
It's the same for me too.
Okay, we can get it all sorted.
No worries. Not going anywhere.
Colin, excellent. Elizabeth, yeah, I think we're all coming back. Okay, we'll start with contestant number 2 because of Prashant's disappearing act. He likes to keep us on the edge of our seats. Maybe he'll return in due course. So the second contestant was Elizabeth Newman Earl. Elizabeth, how are you doing after that?
I'm all right, having a relaxing coffee.
I think we're all relaxing a bit more now. So how long have you been with Toastmasters, Elizabeth?
I joined in 2019, in February, March 2019. So
what club and division and area are you representing today?
So I'm representing Chelmsford Speakers Club, but I'm actually a member of 2 clubs, so Chelmsford Speakers and Chelmsford City, and I'm president of both as well, so just for fun. And then I get muddled with areas and districts and all sorts. So I think I'm area G, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I'm terrible president. Can we edit that bit out?
Is this your first? Yeah, well, hopefully we've got a good editor and we can sort out all of these problems. Maybe we could insert Prashant into first place as well.
Exactly, yeah.
And have you been in the contest before? Is this your first time?
I did the evaluation contest last year at area level, but then that was it. So first time doing table topics as well.
And how do you find the contest really up your game in Toastmasters?
Yes, because I don't like doing prepared speeches. I'm very much fly by the seat of my pants type of person. And so this is much more up my street than having to remember a whole load of a speech. And I invariably forget and get muddled. So this is definitely what gets my juices going.
I'm exactly the same. I hate preparing for speeches. Unprepared stuff, I'm a bit more relaxed. Now, I was looking at your profile form and I saw that you have a doctorate in critical military studies and sociology. What might that be?
So I met a soldier and he promised me he'd show me the world, and he took me to Cyprus, and then it stopped at Cyprus. And I worked in investment banking prior to meeting Chris, and I wasn't able to keep my career going. So I'd always wanted to do a PhD. And when I first visited him over in Cyprus, I was really interested in the juxtaposition between the domestic space, so what's known as the patch, and how spouses had tried to remove the concept of the army, but there was hearts in the window and these signs saying home is where the army sends us. And then that's really up close and personal next to very militarized institutions and buildings. And I wanted to explore how that impacted on spouses, because I didn't really cope very well when I first went to Cyprus, because I felt like I lost a huge chunk of who I was. And so I had the privilege to interview 30 spouses, and my thesis is a sort of a longitudinal study as to the impact of moving behind the wire. And now, 4 years later, I'm setting up a charity which seeks to empower military spouses into looking for local solutions to local problems. And amazingly, one of the spouses I interviewed when we were in Cyprus, she is now my chief operating officer. So I feel like I'm making my PhD work. So I'm very proud of it.
Well, that's a very interesting story, and I will wish you all the best when the results come. Unfortunately,
thank you very much.
I have to wait a week for the results, but the conference will see them very, very soon. So thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
And our next contestant was Colin Mcglade. Colin, you're definitely not new to Toastmasters. I think you said 1994 was when you joined. Is that right?
Correct, that's right, William. Back in 1994, I joined Rathfarnham Toastmasters here in South Dublin, and I've been a member there since September 1994. And then in January 2013, I joined Temple Bar Toastmasters in the centre of Dublin, and I've been a member of there since 2013. So I'm a member of both clubs now at the moment. And I'm representing Temple Bar Toastmasters. That's in Division J, representing them here today.
And I see you've done quite a lot of the roles, including Division J Director.
That's right. Division J was a new division that started off back in 2018, I think it was. Yes, 2018. So it was the first new division we had. Initially, when I joined Toastmasters, Rathfarnham was in Division C, and Division C took up all of the east coast of Ireland, right from Belfast, right down the east coast, right down to the tip of Wicklow. And then they divided it in two, Division M and Division C. And then in 2018, they divided it in three by adding Division J, which is just for clubs in the Dublin city centre area. I think there were about 12 clubs in it when I was division director. I'm not sure how many are there now. So that was a very challenging role for that year, and I couldn't enter contests that year, so I missed that, I must say, during that particular year.
And you certainly entered a lot of contests. I remember I've competed in the same contest as you in the Cork International Speech Contest. So, and I've seen you doing other contests during this year as well. Do you enter them all as a rule when you're not division director?
Yeah, generally I do enter contests, and not every year now, but most years I would enter them. And I'm not really I love the humorous speech contest, but I'm not particularly very humorous, I suppose. So I find that more difficult. I do enter it on occasions, but I've never really got to district in the humorous speech final. But the international speech final, the evaluation final, and today the topics, I've been at the district level a number of times. And I must say, I love taking part in competitions, and it really brings the best out of you and helps you to go deep within yourself and really give of your very best. So it helps you to reach your full potential as a speaker. And I would advise any Toastmaster out there who hasn't entered contests to do so, because it will help you to reach your full potential as a speaker.
I think that's great advice. And just quickly, what do you think the main difference between doing a contest on the stage in person and doing this Zoom process is?
Well, of course, it's much better when you're standing on a stage and you have a big audience in front of you. I mean, it's very strange, this setup, because I'm standing up here in the bedroom, I'm looking at my camera, there's no audience around. If there were an audience there, I'd be looking all around at the audience, establishing eye contact with every member in the audience. They'd be looking at me. We would be communicating with each other. I'd be communicating with them, but they'd be giving me feedback from what I'm seeing. So you don't get any feedback from the audience when you're speaking online. It is another form of communication. Now, I think it's great practice, and I think it's great that Toastmasters has continued online during these COVID times, because it gives us an opportunity to practice our communication skills in a different medium. And while we're not talking to an audience face to face, we are talking to an online live audience. So it is helping us to improve our communication skills. But you do miss the social interaction. I mean, at the end of a contest, to be able to go off and have a cup of coffee or a pint and have a chat with some of the other people who are at the contest, that's great. And then the meal at night time, all of that, don't have any of that here. So I can't wait to get back to the face-to-face interactions.
I'm definitely with you on that, Colin. Even if the meal starts at 10 o'clock at night, like it did in Cork, I would much rather do that than be on Zoom. Well, thank you, Colin, and I wish you all of the best when the results come in. And we've just been joined by Prasanth, who disappeared for a while. I'm very, very glad to say he disappeared after his speech and not before. Prasanth, you love to keep us on the edge of our seats with these IT technology failures. Tell us about the last time and what happened.
Yeah, sure. So last time I was called on as it was my turn to give a speech. And as soon as I called on, my video refused to turn on. I have no clue. I don't know why. It didn't turn on, and my time started. In the sense, Chief Judge Anthony said that you have 2 minutes, and it started. I think came back right in the last second. My phone bailed me out, and the Tesco internet saved my life. I just switched on the camera from my mobile phone like I'm doing right now, and I just started. From then on, I've decided I'm just going to change my internet provider now. It's just annoying. I've anyway spent a year of my master's education online and internet never dropped, but now it's just getting annoying.
It's funny, these things always break down when you don't want them to break down, but I'm very glad you're here. I admit that when I got the message that you disappeared, my heart rate went up and I thought, no, he's already spoken, everything's okay. So how long have you been with Toastmasters and what club, area and division are you representing today?
So I joined Toastmasters on September 2020. It's not even a year since I joined Toastmasters, and this is my first event. I'm currently a student at UCD Michael Smurfit in Dublin. So I am a part of Smurfit Toastmasters, which is in Division M. Yeah, so it's not been a year completely. So I don't know how the actual meetings ever would have happened. So I'm pretty sure it'd be fun.
So presumably this is your first and only time having a crack at the contest that you've only experienced Zoom.
Yep. This is the first time, and it's very different. I mean, I've spoken publicly, like in work, schools, colleges, as part of my education, because I always loved the stage at any point of time. Like I was telling you, right, there is a different joy when you go onto the stage. You can forget everything, but virtually it's a bit different. I'm not used to it, but I think like everyone, I'm also getting used to the whole fact of online media as a communication material.
Excellent. Well, I'm very, very glad you came back for the interview. And when the results come, I wish you all the best. So thank you, Prasanth.
Thank you.
And I'm getting confused now because we're moving the arrangement around. Fourth contestant is Aaron Day. Aaron, how are you doing after you've had 2 contests today? Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I took part in the humorous speech contest earlier on this afternoon.
And you're now in the table topics, the other side of the table topics. So relax. You're not in any tomorrow, I hope.
No, that's it for me. Yeah, absolutely.
And how long have you been in Toastmasters, Aaron?
I joined Elvis Speakers Toastmasters in May 2020.
Right. And did you enter all of the contests then?
No, I entered humorous table topics and international speech. I didn't enter evaluation.
And how's the whole experience been for you? Because it's obviously, pushing you to your limits. How have you found it?
I found it absolutely brilliant. I didn't think that I would be taking part in contests or anything like that when I joined basically this time last year. I wanted it to be an opportunity to improve my communication skills, particularly with public speaking. And then when the notion came around for me to start entering contests, I thought, why not? What is there to lose? And it's been a fantastic journey. Now the journey has effectively been in this box room, but it's been a great journey, and I've got to meet some fantastic people.
Well, it's certainly, judging by your costume in the humorous speech, it's also been a journey through your wardrobe as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
I also like you wrote in your form what inspired you the most, people who regularly do things that scare them. So is this contest scared you?
Oh, absolutely. But it's actually the contest that I've enjoyed the most because someone said it before, I think table topics, because there's no time to be a character or to go into a certain mindset, I think table topics encourages you to sort of reach within inside yourself, and you can't help but talk about certain truths or talk about certain lived experiences, and it be very much from the heart. And that's why I love it so much, because it encourages you to go into recesses that you didn't think you would go back to, both positive and negative, perhaps.
Well, I suppose the next week is going to be quite a excruciating one as you're awaiting the results for both of your contests, but I wish you all the best when the results come, and thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Our 5th contestant was Serena Mann. Serena, how have you found this process? I believe you've just joined Toastmasters recently as well.
Yes, so I joined in the summer of 2019. And I can honestly say I've just really enjoyed the whole process. I wasn't planning to join contests when I first signed up to Toastmasters, but I learned about it, and I'm honestly so pleased that I did. It's been a fantastic learning experience, and it's helped me develop my speaking skills, my confidence, and meeting new people. And yeah, the whole thing has been an extraordinary experience.
I would completely agree with the contest journey. It took me quite a few years. I must admit, I used to think people who went to contests were a bit weird. I used to think, why on earth do they do that? And then I got sucked into the whole contest thing. And it really does push you out of your comfort zone. I might add as well that arranging them, as I've been doing for the table topics, also pushes you outside your comfort zone. It's almost as nerve-wracking, organizing them as to compete in them. I was particularly intrigued by your favorite quote. Now it says, happiness and suffering are states of mind, so their main causes are not to be found outside of the mind. What does that mean?
Yep. So that was one of the quotes I found quite a few years ago. It was from a meditation book, and it really, really helped me, because I think I realized that so much of my life was spent striving, trying to fix the external situation, that somehow when I get this stuff sorted out, then I'll feel happy inside. And this book, which led me on to a meditation practice, really helped me see that first and foremost, I need to take responsibility for my mind, because the causes of happiness are within my mind. So this really sort of rocked my world, and it's helped me so much over the years to really focus on my mind and not to expect for other things, other people, sort of just to provide happiness. And the opposite is true too, that if you have a difficult situation, of course, you might find that challenging, but also it's about looking within your mind. What resources can you pull within yourself to view it in a different way, that you don't suffer so much, that you feel more positive, that you learn from the experience instead of go backwards from it, this kind of thing. So that really helped me, that particular quote.
So you also said that you're into meditation as your hobby. So would you describe yourself, I presume, as a spiritual person then?
I think the word spiritual has a different meaning for everyone. So if it just means looking within and using meditation in my daily life, I'm also a Buddhist, so I think that would be me. I use it to feel positive and to feel a sense of meaning in my life, and to connect with others. So it certainly gives me a lot of richness in my life, for sure. Meditation is central to my life.
Well, thank you, Serena, and I wish you and all the other contestants, as I said, the best wishes when the results come in.
Thanks.
Our sixth and final contestant was Siobhan Fitzgerald. Siobhan, how are you feeling now that the contest is over?
Oh, it's such a fabulous sense of relief, William.
I think it is. And how long have you been with Toastmasters?
Well, when I hear the other contestants say they've just practically joined, some of them, I've been in Toastmasters since 2004. So it's not today or yesterday, but it's definitely a plan of mine to be in it for life.
I think that's a very good life plan as well. And I see you've done quite a few roles. You've been division director. And how have you found doing the roles as compared to competing in contests? Because obviously you're not allowed as division director to compete.
Yeah, but it's a whole different set of challenges and a whole different set of skills. I think that's what makes the whole Toastmaster education package so meaningful for lots of reasons. So you get to put yourself outside of your comfort zone for competitions, like a previous speaker mentioned, but also then you get to see what it's like. And you mentioned yourself working behind the scenes, what skills you need to pull a team together and bring the best out of everybody. So it really is, all in all, it's a fantastic education program in terms of communication, leadership, and then just pushing yourself outside your comfort zone.
And we have an interesting quote from you here. If it is to be, it starts with me. What does that mean?
Oh, well, I profoundly believe this to be true. And I definitely actually use it very much in my teaching. I'm a teacher. So I think everything, absolutely everything starts with ourselves. And this is part of the curriculum as well. So we would teach children, it would all start with what's closest to them, and then topics ranging out into their families, their communities, and then out into the wider world. But, I think there's two types of people in the world: those who take responsibility for things that happen and those that blame other people. And I think when you view the world as you yourself having the power to choose and to change things yourself, then that's where that quotation comes from. If something is going to happen, then it has to start with me. And I just think that's where the power is. And that's where the power has been in my own life.
And just finally, you put on your notable accomplishments, reopening a school safely during a pandemic. Would you like to say a few words about that? I think a lot of people have met up to certain challenges, making the world work again.
Yeah. So obviously this was something that wasn't taught to us at university. There was no mention of any pandemics and having to reopen schools. So I'm the principal of our schools. So a lot of the responsibility came down to me, but not just me, because I have a team of leaders around me. But there were so many things to consider and a lot of decisions to be made, but we didn't have autonomy over certain decisions. And in many areas of our work, we're told to take autonomy. But all of a sudden we were depending on other levels and a clear communication of messages from state bodies and all of that. But with regard to the children themselves, they adapt so quickly. And I have to say that the teachers here and everybody has adapted really well and really quickly, but it's different. Life is different and the whole running of a school is different. But, that doesn't mean it's worse. It's just different. It's a change.
Well, thank you, Siobhan. And again, I wish you the best of luck when the results come. So that concludes the contest, that concludes the interviews, and I will now hand the meeting over to Jerry Dunn to make a few remarks. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, William, and thank you for being a great contest chair for such a great contest. I do believe I said beforehand that we were in for something special, but if anything, I underestimated the contestants. And as we are breaking the space-time continuum today, please give a virtual round of applause to each and every one of them, because that was a truly astounding contest. And I'm sure you can't wait for the results, but I'm afraid you'll have to. If you're watching this at the conference, that will be just a few minutes. If you're watching it as it happens, that will be a week. But if you've enjoyed this contest as much as I have, I'm absolutely sure you'll want to rejoin us when the results are in. And the next voice you hear will be that of our Chief Judge, Anthony Garvey, telling us that the results are ready. But just before I close this fantastic event, I'd just like to give a vote of thanks to all the people that are unsung and we don't hear from particularly, the Zoom masters, the counters, the judges. Without those people, none of this would be possible. So let's have one of those virtual rounds of applause across space and time for them. So I hope you've enjoyed this contest, and as has been said before, I hope you rejoin us after the break.
And we are live. I can see myself. It's been the pinnacle of my career. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, everybody. There is white smoke. You'd be relieved to hear as Chief Judge, I can tell you that we have the results. I want to thank everyone who has made this contest possible. In particular, I want to thank my team of judges, timers, and counters for the professional way that they carried out their duties. I also want to wish all of the contestants the very best of luck. I have two pieces of good news. First of all, there were no time disqualifications. So every single one of you is still in with the shot at this stage. And the second piece of good news, I have just sent the results using modern technology to our contest chair. Best of luck to you all. Over to you, Will.
Thank you, Anthony. And I have received the results. So we are about to find out who has placed first, second, and third for the D71 District Table Topics Final. But first, let's just look back at the process, which began last year. We had around 600 contestants enter the process. The people we have in the room today have got through club level, competed at area level, they've got through area level, they've got to division level, they won their division contest, they got through the semi-finals, and they are now at the final stages. So through 5 stages of this process, we have reduced the number of contestants from about 600 down to 6. There can only be a first and second and third place, and I will now announce them in reverse order. So I'm happy to announce in third place for the D71 Table Topics 2021 final is Serena Mann. In second place for the 2021 D71 Table Topics final is Aaron Day. And the first place, the winner of the 2021 D71 Table Topics final is, and a virtual drum roll, first place goes to Siobhan Fitzgerald. Siobhan Fitzgerald. Now, I understand that you are a principal teacher of a primary school. Are your kids watching this today? Do they know that you're in Toastmasters?
I can't believe it. I'm just gobsmacked because I was just so amazed with everybody else's performances. They'll be watching the playback anyway, for sure. We'll watch that. But thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate this.
And well done to you. How do you feel that you've got through this very long process? Because you've got to remember, this started in, was it October last year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm just so grateful for all the support that I've been getting from my club, from the area, from the division, and just from my family and friends. And, you know, I've been at this level 8 times through the different competitions, and I've never placed. So this is a really special moment for me. Thank you so much.
Well, well done. You have done extremely well to get from 600-700 people all the way down to first place. I'm now going to invite our very own District Director, Gerard Mannix, to say a few words. Please welcome Gerard Mannix.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Contest Chair Will. Very, very well chaired by you and by our Chief Judge, Anthony Garvey, also in his job and role. Oh, congratulations. I presume what a great discipline table topics is in Toastmasters. It really teaches us a lot. It gives us great discipline, speaking in our feet in impromptu situations. And what an exemplary 6, and as you said, Will, from 600 people right down to 6 today. I tell you, it must have been a difficult job to select a winner today. What I would like to do is congratulate all those 600 who participated, because every one of them put themselves forward, going through club, area, division, semi-finals, and the final currently today. To those who partook in the last 6, thank you so much. That was a very beautiful topic you had. What life lessons do you learn the hard way? I don't mean to say that Toastmasters teaches us the hard way, which is ourselves bring us to actually Toastmasters. And we are encouraged and enthused by Toastmasters, and we're learning every time we do something in Toastmasters. Each time we put our foot into a Toastmasters situation, we're learning. We're learning by observation, we're learning by participation. I would like to, from my heart, congratulate Siobhan. It's a huge achievement. I know Siobhan for quite a number of years, and we were division directors together just a few months ago. Is that right, Siobhan? Yeah. So that anyway, I'm delighted for you, and congratulations to all the final 6. So there's nothing further I can say to that. Delighted to be here, and delighted that you had a great contest and a winner, etc. So I thank you, and I hand back over to you again, Will.
Thank you, Gerard. Now, I believe our Zoom master has some certificates and photographs of the trophies to share with everybody. These will, of course, be in the post because we are on Zoom. Just wait a moment for the Zoom master to display the certificates. Look at that trophy. Thank you, Zoom Master. So just a few words in closing of this meeting. Contests have been a big part of my Toastmasters life. Before I was the area director and the division director, I indeed competed in some of the contests. I have competed at the district level a couple of times. I've only managed to get as high as 3rd place, but maybe after my term as division director is over, maybe I can get back into the game and follow in Siobhan's footsteps. I'd first like to thank Daniel Sanders for asking me to organise the Table Topics finals. That was an honour for me to do. I didn't realise when he asked me exactly how many people would be involved in putting together an event such as this. So we've had 2 semi-finals and a final, and of course this award ceremony. And I calculated on a list how many people were involved, and apparently there's 56 people involved in putting this together. Just imagine that. So that is almost 10 people per contestant, per finalist. Of course, I'd love to thank each and every one of you, but I can't name 56 people, but we will put up a list of them at the end. Oh, I think we have the list already. Oh, excellent. We have, if we could possibly remove the blank square. This is the list of the 56 people that were involved with the Table Topics finals. Of course, some people are more secretive than others. They are in alphabetical order, but secreted anonymously amongst this list. There may be some judges, there may be some counters, there may be some people that you know with high-profile roles, such as contest chairs, and I thank each and every one of you. In particular, I would like to thank Anthony Garvey. Anthony Garvey was the chief judge for 2 out of 3 of the finals. I was a chief judge for one of the finals, but Anthony did the lion's share of the recruitment of judges. And this is a very, very difficult task. I believe that I owe him a debt of gratitude for producing so many judges. So my thanks go to Anthony. I'd also like to thank Nick Collins, the Zoom master. Somebody said that the Zoom masters are the glue that holds Toastmasters together, and I couldn't agree with that statement more. If it wasn't for Zoom, we'd be having a very boring year during COVID, and thanks to Zoom and the Zoom team, we've managed to pull off these contests online while we are under lockdown. So a big thank you to Nick and all of the Zoom team. I'd also like to thank the contest chairs of the semi-finals. We had Sarinka Yanga and Jerry Dunn. Both did a seamless and perfectly polished performance. I believe Sarinka had some technical issues, but she remained calm and got everything under control. So congratulations to Sarinka. Sarinka is also a woman of many talents because she's also on the Zoom team, but she can step outside of the shadows and into the driving seat. She did an excellent role as contest chair. And of course, Jerry did a fantastic job as well. And I really appreciated his introduction and his closure to the final ceremony that you just witnessed. So thank you to everybody. Of course, I cannot end this contest without thanking the contestants. Without the contestants, clearly it wouldn't be a contest. Well done again to Siobhan, Aaron, and Serena for placing in this contest. And that pretty much concludes the D71 Table Topics final for 2021. Thank you, everybody. I hereby close the contest.